Welcome to Dependable Flame, where we explore vintage petrol lighters, ashtrays, tobacconana, and other useful mechanisms. Make yourself at home. Today we have a vintage Park Industries slim petrol lighter advertising Coca-Cola. Nice anodized graphic on this aluminum case lighter, which appears to be new. Did have quite a bit of dust buildup inside the case from flint that had degraded and turned to powder. I've cleaned that up as best I could. It also has a plastic flint spring screw, which you'll need to be careful with because those break fairly easily if you're going to use it. It is also equipped with a solid foam fuel cell, which the plastic screw has bled some of its color off into. All this is very common among park lighters, especially park lighters that are marked Murfreesboro, Tennessee. So it was made 1960 or later, after the company was moved from Springfield, Illinois to Murfreesboro. That move purportedly came in 1960, according to an article on the Toledo Bend VCL website. But the overall construction of the lighter, both case, lid, and insert, are constructed of aluminum. There's some steel in use, like the spring and the windscreen, this leaf spring on the back, and also the file wheel. Probably the hinge as well. It's a nice clean case, clean lighter. Does show some scuffs, scratches, maybe a small ding or two, maybe. It's in very nice condition. A very good example of a cool park advertising lighter. This one just happens to be for the iconic Coca-Cola brand. Now, these lighters are genuinely said to have been produced in the 50s and 60s, and we've already discussed that this one would have definitely been in the 60s because of where it is marked that it was made. But I wonder about this Coca-Cola logo. I don't know how long Coca-Cola used this specific logo. I don't know when this specific logo was from. But I wasn't born until 1971, and this looks awful familiar to me. So it makes me wonder whether these lighters were not made well into the 1970s. I think I have seen a catalog listed on eBay from 1971 or 72. So I'm pretty sure that they were made into the 70s, but I don't know how far. And is it possible maybe even that these lighters were made into the 80s? I don't know. I can't answer that. I just wonder because of the logo. But once again, I'm not a Coca-Cola collector or an expert on Coca-Cola logos. So this logo says "Enjoy Coca-Cola," trademark. It's got the line running through the red down toward the bottom of the square logo. But anyway, around it, a very nice piece of Coca-Cola advertising, which I know is very appealing. There are a lot of folks that collect that particular brand. A lot of folks that are big fans of the cola itself. My mother-in-law, it's practically all she drinks. We have joked that she probably brushes her teeth with it. But she carries Coca-Cola in her purse if we go to a restaurant that doesn't serve Coke, only serves Pepsi. And she's going to pull a Coke out of her purse to drink because she will not drink Pepsi. I also remember when I was a kid that I had an aunt. I still have the aunt. She's still alive and kicking. But she was a big Coca-Cola fan. We were out at the mall, and they had a taste test. Of course, the taste test was set up by Pepsi, I believe. And it was a blind test where they poured them in a cup, had you take a drink, and then had you pick which one tasted better. She was certain she would pick the Coke because that was all she drank. She supposedly did not like Pepsi. But in the taste test that day out at the mall, she picked the Pepsi, which convinced her that they had left the Coca-Cola out and let it go flat so that she wouldn't be tasting exactly what she knew Coca-Cola to taste like. I don't know whether that was the case or not. I'm sure that many of you will remember those taste tests back in the 1980s. But whether or not this lighter would have been produced around that time, or more likely in the 60s or very early 70s, I'm no expert. I cannot attest to that. What I can attest to is that it is a Park Industries slim Petrol lighter made sometime after 1960 or so. Has a 4-barrel hinge riveted onto the case and lid. Has a nice clean wick. There may be some residue of flint debris on the wheel. I cleaned it pretty well and it looks a lot better than it did, but some of it is still clinging to it. Shouldn't cause any problem if you were to install a flint and decide to use this lighter. The solid foam fuel cell works pretty well. I've used them myself on several occasions. So you could always repack that. Put a modern wick in there with some organic cotton or just plain cotton balls, whatever you have. And this lighter would work great. Or you can set it on a little lighter stand on a shelf with your other Coca-Cola advertisements or lighters, depending on what it is that you collect. Displays nicely, just as well as other more well-known name brands. But the Park lighters are very collectible, very appealing, and I think growing in popularity. Until next time.